Hello, Chala. How are you?
Hey, it's so nice to see you, Marty.
So nice to be here.
So tell us exactly what you do and who you help.
So my name is Marty. I own a pre-employment screening company, and our job is to make sure clients know who that they're hiring.
Very nice. So then tell us how you decided to, well, how we met and how you decided to hire me.
Yes, well, I've known Chala for a couple of years before. I actually worked with her. I met her at a number of supplier diversity events and We Be Canada. Pardon me, and We Connect International. And I always had an instant connection with Chala because she's so likable. And I also know she's worked with a number of my colleagues who also had good things to say about her. So just already having that comfort level with Chala before I started working with her was huge because I had seen what she had done with some of my colleagues.
So what was the business problem? And I know it's been some time, but what was the business problem you were trying to solve at that time when you hired me?
Yeah, it was a problem I think a lot of people have. My sales were static. They just sort of seemed to be plugging along. My business has been in operation for 47 years. So over time, you can kind of get complacent and things just chug along. But I really wanted to change things. And I just felt my sales were so static. So I thought, you know what? I needed some injection. I needed some of Chala's knowledge and energy to help me with that. So that's why I hired her.
Well, and I certainly gave you,
You
I
did
gave you a push.
a great job, my friend.
I certainly gave you a push, man, for sure. So tell me sort of what that experience was like for you.
Well, it was a great experience. Right off the bat, my sales increased by 15% by hiring Chala. So I thought that that was really, really good. Um, but I think one of my biggest was I was really struggling. We do a lot of industry conferences, and we were really struggling to get a really decent ROI. You spend a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of energy going to these conferences, and after a while, they just kind of become, mundane. And Chala was brilliant with her marketing campaign. She came up with this banner that we took to our last conference, and it was of this creepy guy, and it made everybody at the conference stop and look. He was really creepy. And it's like, because we're all about knowing who you hire. So on the banner, it's like, know who you hire. And this guy had a mask on his face. And it was the most brilliant marketing thing, I think, at the whole conference. And that was thanks to Chala. And it got people to stop at our booth. And some of them walked by, some of them didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it made them come back and talk to us.
Yeah. I remember that you had been going to that same show year after year after
Yeah.
year. And just the previous year, you had told me like the results had been pretty negligible.
Yep.
What were the results? And it wasn't just the banner. You listened to everything that I said. You've been a very good student. So you pre-called and engaged your audience and then made them meet with you and then met with them afterwards. So what were the results of that work that we did in terms of, clients?
In terms of clients, the number went up probably. I mean, we were able to get a number of new clients, but I think it was more the revenue that was really the increase where we saw. I mean, you can get one client, your revenue can go crazy, or you can get a lot of clients, but I think it was the number of clients that we were able to get, the number of leads that often led to closures. And it was basically the sales increase of 15% in revenue within the first year, which we were really grateful for. And that creepy guy has continued to follow us. He's on our social media often and stuff like that. So it's kind of become our brand. And I won't turn my camera around right now, but if I did, you would see him. He greets you at our door when you come into our office.
God, that's so funny. And in the meantime, Crystal, if you can find, like, while Marty and I are talking, her testimonial video about what I'm going to ask her next about the niche form, the research form. If you can find that in my feed, that would be great. So just search for that. And then maybe we can screen share and show that after you and I are done. So Marty, talk to us about what value you got out of working with me other than the things that you talked about, especially during the research.
Yeah, the market niche, the market initiative, the niche research, that was a project that I really kind of went into kicking and screaming. It wasn't something that I was comfortable doing, but China is really good at making you get out of your comfort zone, and everybody needs to get out of their comfort zone. That was a hard project for me, but I think that's where I got a lot of traction and the confidence. where it was so valuable was we would go back to former clients that we had, and we were coming in at a whole different strategy. We were no longer coming in to pitch our business because that's blah, blah, blah. But we were coming in to gather information, market research. And that really, truly opened the door to engage in conversation with these clients. And they were quite interested in it. And that led to reconnecting with a number of people, former clients that already knew, like, and trusted us, but for whatever reason they went on. It was just one of the most brilliant things that we did. And I still go back and I revisit that market research niche. We're having a bit of a slow period or whatever. It's a great thing to give to your sales team. Okay, you're looking at who your clients, who hasn't done business with you. Here is an opportunity to not just come in and do their sales pitch, but to give them some value.
Yeah, for sure. That's so true. Now, what advice do you have to give to people? We're all in a tough position with COVID, some of us worse than others. I often talk about how my pipeline has dried up until I discovered this whole online niche. So tell me, what advice do you have to give to people who are scared of making an investment in working in a program like this?
It'd be frightful not to make an investment. It's so critical, because if you don't, you're not going to get out of that comfort zone that you're in. You need to, if you want to increase your sales and your investments. It is so valuable to have a coach who's going to hold you accountable, because otherwise you say you're going to do that. I did that for so many years. We're going to do this year. We're going to do that this year. We never would, but without having Chala to hold me accountable, you really, really need that. There's so much value in that. I would highly, highly recommend it. And I think, Chala, I need to have a refresh boot camp every couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're going to schedule that absolutely afterwards. When you have your team in gear, we're going to schedule that for sure. No, we talked about that.
It was like having an accountability buddy in Chala as well. It's so important to have that person in your camp, because your team at the end of the day, they're not really going to be the ones, to kind of push, but having someone as a resource like Chala was just totally.
Yeah, no, thank you. But to be clear, like you were $1 million business, and you belong to $1 million CEO club called the Women Presidents Organization, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the difference between being part of that and our work together?
WPO is more peer-to-peer advisory, and that's really important. We all need to have peer-to-peer advisory, but Chala was different. You were a coach. We had a mission. We set the goals and objectives, and you held me accountable.
Right. So it's different than a whole group of peers.
Different than peer-to-peer advisory, because you understood our challenges. You worked with me to solve our individual challenges, because if you have 5 different businesses, you're all going to have different challenges to solve. Probably were brilliant at picking out what we weren't doing, just like that niche form and the marketing with the creepy guy. You just knew how to get that stuff out of us. But other organizations, memberships that I belong to, they're great for the support, but yours was really bottom line business.
Got it. Okay. Because I've always wondered, because so many people tell me I'm a part of a mentoring program. I'm a part of a peer advisory. So I'm always interested in what
it's different. Peer-to-peer advisory is great. You need that, but then you also need a Chala who's going to kick your butt and hold you accountable to goals that you need to reach. Right?
We're going to scare people, but hey, it's been consistent. I don't know what kind of a monster I am, but people have been saying she kicks your butt, and I'm like, I'm Canadian. We're Canadian. We're the nicest people in the world.
She does it in a very nice way, but she makes you do that. She makes you go outside of your comfort zone to do what you have to do. Because if we don't get outside of our comfort zone, we're not going to accomplish our goals.
That's wonderful. So where could people reach you if they wanted to talk to you or have more questions about your business?
My website is Britton Management. Britton is spelled Britton, brittonmanagement.com. And our head office is located in Toronto.
Yay. Thank you so much.